Nice one.
Thank you so much.
Just maybe put my phone on that.
Right, that over there because I don't need it. Oh, in fact, just in case we go over half an hour, yes I will. Even though we shouldn't, just make sure you're perfect in there. Sean Murray, isn't it? See, this is where I mess up.
Really?
People's names.
Yeah, Sean Murray.
I know it, but as soon as I've got to say it, I did it the other day with you know where I'm going to do it again. You know Anthony Sims Jr.
Yeah.
He's coming over this week. He's fighting Zach Chelly, isn't he?
American, yeah.
Why did I call him Chris?
What do you call him?
Chris.
Chris.
Who's Chris?
Oh wow, yeah.
So I do it all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, the only thing I will ask is that goes up there.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's a lot of background noise and I want to make sure your voice is clear. So October Red Boxing. We are here in the Sweatbox Gym in the lovely place of Bristol.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me down, Sean.
No problem, good to have you here.
Sean Murray is a manager of 2 fighters. Tell us a little bit about who you manage, what weights they are, and then we can get into some more stuff after that.
So we've got Oluwatosin Kejawa, who is light heavyweight, 7-0, 5 KOs. And we've also got Elizabeth Oshoba, who is a featherweight, and she's 3-0, 3 KOs. Commonwealth silver medalist at the Birmingham Games last year.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about your journey, because I know I'm going to speak to them and how they came to be with you, but Prosperity Management, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so Prosperity Sports Management was set up a couple of years ago. So it was kind of a dormant company, and it was set up for my little hobby kind of. I've got a few other businesses, so that was kind of later down the line when I had more time. I got a call from a Nigerian number, somehow got my phone number, so I was kind of sat there one day, answered a video call, and it was Oluwatosin, who was in the middle of Lagos, kind of showing me around a little bit and saying that he wanted to develop his career in the UK or across the world, and would I be interested in working with him? So it was all very random, and then we kind of got speaking over kind of messages, and I was watching training clips. I've been kind of around boxing a long time, so probably going to shows for the last 16, 17 years, being around boxers when I was younger, so I can kind of know whether someone's got a good jab or a good hook. And on videos it looked great. So we'd had one pro fight at the time, and that wasn't a lot to go on because it's really difficult in sort of Africa to kind of gauge where the kind of level is in terms of, in this country, the levels are a lot higher in terms of professional boxing. So as I said, we got talking, and then we kind of looked at whether or not that would be viable. Obviously, as I said, I was doing other things at the time, so kind of navigating my way around, speaking to various people, working out sort of visas and other things, but we managed to get it done. We got him here. He made his UK debut last year. He's had 3 fights since, and as I said, he's moved to 7-0, 5 KOs, so he's doing really well.
I didn't realise that it was that random, that you literally got a phone call out of nowhere.
Yeah.
With Tosin calling, I didn't realise it was that random. I thought maybe somebody over here kind of like says, oh yeah, I've got a fighter in Nigeria that you might want to look at. It was literally that random.
Yeah, it was a Facebook ad. He added me as a friend, and then I think it was a messenger call from Facebook. So it was completely random. As I said, completely out the blue. At the time, I'd set up the company to do down the line, and as I said to you earlier, it was by chance, and kind of here we are now.
Tosin, then talk to us about applying for visas, because I know you've had to do it before. This is something that's new to me, so you're teaching me like your journey. Okay. And other promoters, managers might look at this and think, okay, there's a blueprint for this.
Yeah.
What was kind of like the process to get him over from Lagos to come over to the UK?
Yeah, so there wasn't really a blueprint. So it was, I had a teacher at one of my education centres for underprivileged children. And we had a conversation, and she briefly kind of mentioned that she had kind of overseen her dad's visa, I think it was, or something or other. And then we kind of sat there at the end of the day and had a discussion about, do you think we could do this? And she was great, and she kind of gave me some advice, and we submitted it with a view to kind of come into the UK. As I said, at that chance it was sort of 50-50, so we kind of got the approval, had everything in place, and then brought Oluwatosin over. He started off in London at the Pug Gym, so he was down there in Don Charles's gym. He had like an exhibition fight, and then everyone was kind of, oh, okay, he looks good here. And then from there, he kind of stayed there for 6 months. And then he moved into my house with my children and my partner, to kind of give him the option to come to Bristol, because obviously the facilities here are bringing in more local. And that's the kind of background story, really.
I'm going to have to give you a bit of credit for that, because there's certain family members that I wouldn't have stay in my house. Never mind somebody that's travelled thousands of miles that you don't really know.
Yeah.
And then to invite them into your family home.
Yeah.
Obviously, that there's a cost implication. I get that.
Yeah.
But that risk, that is a major risk. What made you say, Oluwatosin, you know what? Okay, I'm going to take a chance on you.
Yeah. So we'd had kind of 6 months of Oluwatosin in London. So he was under trainers, he was under kind of other people that were keeping sort of a close eye on him, kind of feeding back to me what he's like in terms of temperament, obviously kind of his professionalism, and then when that was fed back to me, I as you said, took a chance, moved him in. We all learnt Nigerian in the house, which was nice. What food to eat, a few swear words that the kids enjoyed, but yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
So Oluwatosin is not your only fighter. You also have a female, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Tell me about Elizabeth.
Yeah, so following on from Oluwatosin sort of making his UK debut, I had discussions with a number of people in Nigeria, because I got kind of used to the people to go to by this point, and speak to about kind of boxing and who was on the scene. Elizabeth was someone that was mentioned in the early stages as well with Tosin, but at that time she was an amateur that was going to the Commonwealth Games and then the Olympic Games. I think that was always the plan. So at that time I didn't really make any moves for Elizabeth, but then I went to the Commonwealth Games, we sat down, we talked. Obviously she knows about sort of Tosin and his journey, and we spoke about the opportunities, and the same thing applied. Yeah, kind of.
There was a certain person back in the 80s that used to fix things. I'm not going to compare you to him, but I'm saying this is almost like a dream come true. And I can say that because I've done IG lives, and I've had fighters, say, from Africa come on to, like, they really want to get on the IG lives, they want to get out there.
Yeah.
So I realised when you kind of like looking at the UK, I don't know, I'll speak to the guys about it, but it comes across as like the golden goose, that like the promised land for boxers.
Yeah, 100%. It was, I think, for African boxers, it's the UK or the States. Obviously, it's difficult because of the visa implications. So, I mean, to get out of Nigeria is quite hard unless you've got a sponsor, you've got a backer, you've got someone that can financially invest into you. Because, obviously, the British boxing generally they've grown up in a local area, they're ticket sellers. It's kind of a done deal in terms of if they've got obviously capability, then they're going to be on shows and generating tickets. This isn't the most cost-effective business I've ever done in terms of, but as you said, it was an opportunity, and in the long run I see the potential of these guys, and the investment is worth making because they're dedicated, they train every day, they're the first ones in the gym, the last ones out of the gym, and that for me is what it's all about.
I'm going to go back to you. You come across as somebody that is prepared to take risks. Let's get to know you a bit.
Okay.
Where does this come from? Where does that, almost like the trust of strangers or to follow your gut, that entrepreneurism, as one myself?
Yeah.
I want to know, where does that come from? Where's that drive come from, Sean?
It's probably being a young kid. I was always, I'd say, taking risk. I wasn't kind of in school a lot when I should have been in school. I was doing other things. I got a job when I was 13, so I actually left school and got a job working at a young age, because I could see that I wanted to earn money, I wanted to have kind of opportunities. So I was working from a young age, and I started developing sort of businesses and things from a young age. And as I said, I've got sort of 3 other businesses that have been quite successful. So I guess, as you said, it's having that gut feeling and not being afraid to take a risk, and not being risk adverse, and just going if you believe in something, going through with it, and going through with it 100 mile an hour. And yeah.
What is it that makes you believe that these guys are worth it? And I get it. There's local fighters you could have picked up. There's probably boxers in this gym you could have picked up. What is it about Tosin and Elizabeth that you believe they're worth the risk? What is it?
It's the story and the trust in terms of understanding the conditions that they come from, the deprived areas, that this is more than just boxing. This is an opportunity to get out of a country, to have an opportunity to work, to develop your skills, to better your life. And I think because they've had that experience, and obviously people have experiences in these countries, it's all around the world, it's difficult. But it was just that phone call. It was and I'm terrible if someone my daughter does it to me all the time. She kind of wraps me around her fingers, and if someone kind of reels me in with a story, then it's difficult for me to kind of say no, and that was it really.
But I'm sure moving forward, you'll have your wits about you. No doubt you've learned some lessons along the way. I'm sure it wasn't a perfect ride, but you will know when to say, hold on a minute, I know you're not serious. I know you're just looking for a free ride.
Yeah. And
it's being able to make that almost like snap decision, because you will spend a lot of money on investing in these fighters, training, equipment, accommodation. Fair enough, I know you've kind of negated that, but then there's a risk with that. But you're happy with that?
Yeah, risk. There's a risk in everything.
Oh, you're going to have to put the mic up though. You're going to have to, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's all right.
So there's a risk in everything, in every business, in every walk of life. There's risks, and it's about taking calculated risk. I think over a period of time, if you've done different things in your life, if you've done other businesses, you get to kind of know the things to go for in terms of the risk, and maybe kind of risk versus reward, and get a better understanding of that.
It's commendable to sit here and just listen to how it all started. We've kind of okay, this is a hobby, something I'm going to put on a back burner, but I'm going to set up the account anyway.
Yeah.
Then you get a message, then it turns into a FaceTime, then it turns to, getting a visa, bringing a fighter over, then you bring another fighter over. What is next for your two guys? When are they out next? I know they box on Neilson's boxing card. Shout out to Neilson Promotions as well. But what's next for them?
Yeah, I think to echo that, I mean, Mark Neilson and the team have really kind of trusted in terms of my vision, I would say, that I went to them. It was a difficult couple of phone calls, because I think it was quite kind of skeptical and a little bit cynical, because I'm sure they get these calls all the time. So it's kind of what's different this time. So I had to sell them the vision. I had to sell them kind of the opportunity that I thought that we could work together on. They came down to the gym, they watched Tosin sparring, they saw the kind of bigger picture. And then obviously have given me the platform, and then obviously with March coming up now, so they're out in March the 10th in Gloucester on the Neilson show, and then interestingly we're taking them back to Lagos to fight at Moist Beach under Saleh Glove's promotion in a co-promotion, which is going to be an amazing event. It's going to be a huge card in Africa, and we're going to get them out, hopefully fighting for titles on that card.
So you have brought over two fighters, helped them get the coaching, the training that they need. They've had a few fights over here, and now you're getting involved in a co-promotion with the African promoter to bring them back over to fight on a big card in Africa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 years from a hobby.
Yeah.
2 years from a back burner hobby that should have been.
Yeah. No, it's, as I said, it's going to be an incredible night. I've never been to Lagos, but I've seen some amazing pictures of the venue. We're due to go out there with Neilson Promotions and meet the other promoter, look at the site, look at kind of how it all works and fits together. And the guys it's the most excited I've seen them to go home. I think they're enjoying the English culture, but for them it's an opportunity to fight in front of their family, in front of their friends, be on a huge card, as I said. And it's great for African boxing.
African boxing linking up with British boxing is something that we may have heard rumbles about, but it's never happened. So it's kind of like iconic that you're actually doing that for your fighters. I love to hear that. So prosperity management, then we're going to look at obviously plugging your socials, how people can find you.
Yeah.
And are you looking to take on any more fighters? Over to you.
Yeah, we're always looking at opportunities. If someone comes through the door, it's a busy gym here, as you can see, sort of looking around. I think the MMA, the boxing, I mean, I see 60, 70, 80 people here in a gym. It's incredibly busy, but we're always looking at opportunities. We've got a great coach here doing the boxing, Mehdi Balabi. He's got a great stable. And I think it will depend on the opportunities, but there's always room to grow.
And how can we contact you? How can we find you on social medias and really get behind you? Because you are doing incredible work. And it's often that you guys are like the unsung heroes in boxing. So it's your time to shine.
Yeah, so it's Prosperity Sports Management. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. So give us a follow, give us a like. Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, get behind this guy. He's doing a lot. I've seen and heard the stuff that he's done for the fighters. You know, somebody that's prepared to invest in them, to take those risks. And I know a lot has been said, but not often a lot gets done. And he's actually doing something about it. So get behind him, support Sean. Prosperity Management Services, all over Instagram. Have you got Twitter?
No, we don't use Twitter at the minute, but we will.
Got to set that Twitter up. October Red Boxing, Sean Murray. Until the next time.
Nice one. Thank you.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.